All right, we are live on the Bagland podcast. It's been a long time since I went live, you guys. So I'm getting ready to have my brother join me in a second. My brother in arms, known this guy for well over 20 something plus years. So everybody pile into the room. We are going live here. It's a few more seconds here. Gonna make sure he gets in. I may need to edit this little piece out as we're waiting. I think he's still trying to join here. Let's play a little bit of music while we go at. He's here. He's here.
Hear me?
All right. I can hear you good, man. How's things been going?
Going great.
Going great. Well, we got some audio. We gonna jump right into it. We got a lot of topics that we were not able to discuss beforehand. Um, once I get all my stuff kind of in order how I want, I'll really be able to do all the edits and stuff. But I got this other little machine that I've been working on, and that's just quite all right. For those that haven't been, I haven't been using Podbean in a very long time. So for people that are still part of this channel, we appreciate y'all tuning in. When's the last time that we actually went live? Has it been over a year?
Probably about that.
Probably over a good year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. I want to turn this up
About
now.
that.
I got this. I got this audio from my good brother from African Diaspora News. I'm quite sure you're familiar with African Diaspora News. That's a foundational brother that has, he has a lot of different hosts from different places among the diaspora. He got his sister from Ethiopia. He got his sister from West Africa. He got his foundational sister on there. You got a couple of them, and he has a very, very big network. Lots of followers, very well respected. Um, he's been taking a lot of black folks over to Ghana and different places in Africa and things over for like the past 10 or 15 years, I believe, if not the last 5 years. So he's been kind of boots on the ground. Um, so I check his stuff out from time to time. Now the sentiments of what's been going on with this No Kings protest and these things we've been looking at for a little while. I want to play a little bit of audio and kind of get your views. And there's quite a bit of other audio I want to play. And there's some other issues. And especially we got some hot topics with Minnesota. We from Minnesota, y'all. So there's some real janky stuff going on in Minnesota in regards to what we suspect to be, connected, possibly, allegedly, possibly could be connected to the governor. There was a senator and his wife that was shot, and I think somebody else was killed. So we'll get into that tonight. We're going to get into talking about what the updates with Larry Hoover. We're going to get updates from New Jack. We're going to get updates on the Louisiana escapees. And we also kind of need to cover on what happened, what's going on in Atlanta with those two brothers. We have not heard any word on the brothers down there in that were in Atlanta. That's very disturbing. We haven't had any updates on those brothers in Atlanta whatsoever. And the thing about that is it's we've heard reports that it's a sundown town. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off the audio here, and we'll get your thoughts on it here.
Country got it. And if any of them saying no to reparations, then they nothing but an anti-black racist that don't want black people to have anything. And these other groups you have said no to, and we have played that here. You said no. Okay. My issue is this. We as black folks don't even need to get off our square. You want to do something? I'm here. So well, Vince, we can't sit out for a long time. We ain't sat out long enough. We ain't sat out even a year. No, don't listen. Do not get weary and rest. Rest. Stop. You don't have to do anything. These other groups have never reciprocated. These other groups don't even support reparations. Let me tell you something. Let's talk about the Latinos in California. With the California Reparations Commission, Latinos, you could have supported that. Asians, anybody else, you didn't have to go out there and do nothing. All you could have said is, yeah, Black Americans need to get their reparations. There's not even a lot of Black Americans in California. We say, but
now before he goes on, I want to say something. There's a Latino sister that was looking out for her. She covered this. I can't remember her name. I think you sent it to me or somebody I know that sent it to me. Don't mind it. That's my dryer going. I'm down here. There was a Latino woman, and you know she's fair and impartial to the news. I can't remember what her name was, but I'm gonna pull that up and find it. But she went and she asked the Congressional Black Caucus in California. To mind you, these are Democrats. These are the people that's been shaming Black folks to vote. Oh, if you don't vote, you're disrespecting your ancestors, and Donald's gonna get in, and all these boogeyman tactics. And when it came to passing the bill, Gavin Newsom sent them Negroes out and told them, hey, don't support the bill. So this Latino woman, she went up there and asked them, like, hey, you know, you Black, you supposed to be supporting this bill for foundationals. They started laughing and they started joking and carrying on. And so Black folks went up there to rally, like, hey, what's going on? So she exposed them, and it was a Republican that set the bill on the table. That was a chess move. He supported it, and Gavin Newsom shut it down. So that's kind of what he's talking about for those that don't know. There's also a Sambo mayor or a governor out there in Maryland. He just did the same thing. Also a Democrat. These are not Republicans that have done this recently. So, you know, when people start pointing the finger at the Republicans, that's what the Congressional Black Caucus and a lot of these Sambo Democrats have been saying. Hey, man, you know, so-and-so's racist and this. And we're like, wait a minute. Y'all supposed to have our back. So they start acting a fool out there. And I'm going to try to find that footage, but I'm going to continue.
Black Americans need to get their reparations in the form of cash payments. I support that. And if y'all would have done that, Latinos, in California, if y'all done that one gesture, Black folks in California be with you. Actually, Black folks all over the country be with you, because they say, hey, man, the Mexicans in California, they down, man. It's truly a Black and brown. See, what y'all didn't bank on. Y'all didn't bank on them folks to turn against you. You thought they always going to listen. What we're doing right now is almost like a little example if we wasn't in America. It's just a small example, right? The folks have an oppressive nature, okay? It's oppressive. They will oppress their own people, okay? So since that's part of the culture is oppressing each other, they've done it in Europe. It's European history. You can go look it up.
Fair use, YouTube.
They can't do it to Black people out there because, hey, if we're there, they can do it. Well, who's the next person in line they're going to do it to? They're not going to really do it to white people. They're going to do it to you because you're there. They're trained on go after the first person to have any kind of melanin in their skin. And now you're starting to find out the hard way about these people. You're starting to find out. And I know a lot of you really don't like the folks. I know you don't. But you rather side with them because they'll give you your little jobs and give you a lot of little under the table money. So that's why you're with them. And so you want to make good with them. So you'll be against the Blacks, right? But see what happens when you're against the Blacks. You see what happens? We know these people. These people are not your friend. They will turn on you just like that and won't think twice about it. Then within your own community, because y'all know y'all delineate, within your own community, you're talking about which group within your Hispanic community has sold you out. And that's something y'all got to deal with. That's not my issue. And that's not really my problem. You know, if I'm going to deal with anything, we're going to deal with FBAs and I'll discuss the diaspora. Now, some people don't talk about the diaspora, but I do. And they don't have to talk about that, you know, because I think more international and global. Some people only think domestic, and that's okay. That's quite okay. But I'm one that want to work with those who want to work with me and who on like mine. And there's plenty of people I've talked to in the diaspora that support reparations, because if we get reparations, the diaspora gonna get reparations. That's just the way it works. That's the way it's going.
Now, one of the greatest fears of race soldiers, the United States of America is a world power. California, New York, Chicago, Texas, major Black cities, right? If California stomping and gets reparations and New York gets reparations, it's over. That's a domino effect for every rest of all the other states. So now the common race soldier is gonna be like, well, wait a minute. If we pay the foundationals, which we owe, they gonna get it and they gonna go right over to Africa and put a foot in the UK ass like, hey, y'all gotta pay them brothers too. And that's the fear. They're terrified of of that idea. Like, well, damn, yeah, Haiti. You sent me something not too long ago, bro, about Haiti. Haiti was asking for reparations. They want their money from France. And you know what I say? I'm not qualified to get it from Haiti. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I want France to pay Haiti their money, every dime and interest. So that's my take on it. I'm like, no, you need to pay up. Germany needs to pay Namibia for Shark Island. Yeah, people didn't. They thought that I forgot about the Nazi occupation with Shark Island in Namibia. Yeah, Germany owes reparations. They owe Namibia reparations. All them damn European countries owe reparations to Africa. They need to pay, and they got the money. They got plenty of money. I don't want to hear nothing about what they ain't got. Oh, we don't got this and we ain't got that. No, you got it. Pay up. So, but now I agree with him on that. If you would have had a lot of these Latino folks out there in California, even if 30,000 would have came out, because I think it's like 4 million, it might be 4 or 5 million illegals, or you know what I'm saying, like, well, Latinos, it might be 7 million out there in California. I don't know, but illegal immigrants or whatever. If you would have just had 30 to 40,000 that came out in the streets of LA, like if they would have came out like how they did today, like, hey, foundationals need that check. Oh, we would have been out there, bro. Foundationals, the few foundationals in California, they would have been out there. We would have been out there with them, like, yeah, no, ICE got to go. And America would have been like, damn, man, the foundationals involved now. You seen what happened when the dude from Iran said that with George Floyd. That was global. And you said something, you've been saying this for years now. America had, niggas had America by the balls, man. And niggas just didn't, you didn't have the Al Sharptons. You didn't have the so-called black leaders, if I could call them that, I guess. None of them said, hey, look, man, this what happened to Floyd, this is, this goes all the way back to Emmett Till and goes back to slavery. This issue right here is a racial issue, but we could victimize Floyd because Floyd didn't have no money. Yeah, we could victimize him if Floyd was a millionaire, but if Floyd was a millionaire, he probably would have had a lawyer, and that cop, Chauvin, would have already been in jail. So, yeah, you got money, so they can victimize you. They can still do something to you, and you're more of a threat. But like you said, man, America, black folks had America by the balls, and that was a time to say, hey, man, cut the check. Cut the check. And that didn't happen. Now, what's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, like I said before, the only thing worse than not having leverage is having it and giving it away, or having it and not using it. That's the only thing worse than not having it. And when you have if you want to go back to the Floyd time, when you have a bunch of people rioting and they're on TV, lawmakers and politicians begging people to stop, please stop. But see, the thing is say, for instance, I think during Floyd, I think Biden was in office. Was it Biden,
Yeah,
or was
Biden.
or
Biden.
was it
It
Trump?
was Biden.
Was it
Well,
Biden?
no, I think it was Trump. Let me see.
No, it was
I think
Trump.
Trump was. It was
Yeah.
Trump, because Trump was talking about, well, Floyd's gonna have justice or something. He said, I don't know,
So
quote
now,
unquote.
if had Donald Trump woke up and said, "All right, you blacks, they're up here acting a fool. Okay, I'm gonna give them what they want." Who would he talk to?
Well,
I'm
the
asking
first
you.
people that
I'm
probably would
asking
have.
you. I'm asking you. Who? And now the person he talks to not only has to be able to negotiate the terms, but also has to be able to call off the dogs. You feel what I'm saying? So if I'm negotiating on behalf of Black Americans and I negotiate a great deal, okay, that's fine. That's half the battle. Now, can I call off the dogs? Can I get all these people to stop rioting?
Yeah, that's the issue.
No, that's the issue. You know, in every other organization that I hear you bring up, the fact that they get theirs out of white people, they have that. They got that motherfucker who can call off the dogs.
Well, we couldn't
So
have
that's where
Jesse and
you get.
Sharpton,
Well, you got those guys that got their own agendas.
but they would, okay. Now, all right. Most Black Americans, when we hear Sharpton and Jesse, we just look like, okay, they trying to get them another little check for themselves. They've done some things a long ass time ago, and they do bring cameras. Crump is the new Sharpton. He's the new Sharpton, so he brings the cameras. The thing is we need somebody. Basically, we would have needed like a Dr. Claude Anderson to really be able to break it down. But somebody like him, he wouldn't take no money under the table to coon out. So he wouldn't have been a useful subject for that party, whatever. If Donald called them up and said, all right, look, how much y'all want? Y'all need to stop this. You costing us another $3 billion a week or whatever the case may be. I thought about those helicopters in LA. Did you know that them helicopters cost $100,000 a day?
Yeah.
Was it $100,000 a day?
Yeah.
At first, I text you like, hey, bro, is it 10? And you're like, more. I'm like, more?
More, yeah. The fuel alone is probably 50, 60 grand. Then you got to pay the pilot, and you got to pay the navigation people. Oh, it's expensive, man. And then just to get in the air costs.
Yeah, I thought it would be maybe 20. No, it's 100.
No. If me and you wanted to get on a private plane from here to Las Vegas, it'd be over 200 bands.
200 bands?
If we were renting it, yeah, it'd be 100 bands one way, 100 bands another. Probably be 80.
So basically,
with a $20,000 tip.
So if you rent something like that, they said that Diddy had a private plane and he had been charging stuff like that over time. That was a smart investment.
Diddy has 2 private jets, one for him and then one that pays for the other one.
Oh, so that's why the Feds is like, yeah, we got to put this nigga away. He got too much money.
No, if you notice something, if you remember, when he was leaving, if you remember when he was leaving with the white boy and all his people, and they stopped the white boy and they let them go.
Yeah.
They already knew the white boy had the drugs. What is this goofy ass white boy doing around Diddy? He ain't writing no lyrics. He ain't no producer. Even if he is a producer, what the fuck is he on the jet for? They already knew the white boy has the drugs. If you notice something, they went straight to him. They cuffed him, arrested him, boom. Now, here's another thing that people don't realize about feds and police. That took me, a couple of times, and I actually learned this being in Vegas. The police will hear something and not put it on the record. For instance, say I get jammed up.
Right.
And I go, I know this guy DP, he's moving about 50 million pounds of meth, you know what I'm saying? They'll write that down for themselves. They're not going to put that on any document. They're just going to go watch you now. Can they see from what I just told them, can they mix that together? And how I know that is because I had a grow house in Las Vegas years ago, before even weed was. Now it's legal. You could do that. But I had a grow house and I was booming. Me and a good friend of mine who just passed away not too long ago. We were booming, man. Booming. Okay. We got raided.
Okay.
And we found out, we knew through channels, through the streets, we knew who told. What they did is they listened to what he said, but didn't document it. You feel me? So let's just, we just heard what he said. So then they followed my guy to a plant store. They followed him to the plant store and seen he was buying a bunch of seeds and fertilizer stuff, and they put it together. That's all they needed.
Okay.
So when they rolled up on Diddy and them going on the plane, the private jet, when you get on a private jet, every person that's on that jet has to be documented. And
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah, it has to be documented. And some flight companies won't let certain people fly. So everybody, so everybody has to have a background check on them flights. You're not going to get on a private jet and nobody knows who's who. There's federal navigation people that are sitting there before you get on that jet, on that plane. Who's here? Oh, him. All right. Who is Eric Johnson? That's you. All right, get on.
So none of that movie stuff. None of that movie stuff. You get sneak a whole bunch of weapons on the plane and don't nobody know nothing.
Fuck no. You could maybe get, a little bag of bud or something. You could maybe do that, but you ain't getting no pounds on that motherfucker. Maybe some.
What about weapons?
Personal use.
What about weapons?
A strap, but not like, nigga, we going to war. You could probably get a piece, a little gun for you, but you're not gonna be bringing 10, 15, 20 guns on the. Nah, hell nah. That's just on TV, man. They got you hook, line, and sinker, man. Look at the rapper who died. He was on the private jet and he had the drugs, and then the police is getting ready to raid the private jet, and then he took all the drugs.
Oh, that was
Juice WRLD.
Juice WRLD. Now, remember when I was telling you earlier that, and this goes back into that Vlad TV thing I was letting you hear, or we were talking about, and you were asking me about if Hoover got out, would folks listen to him and everything. Now, Juice WRLD, he was pretty big. Now, the fact that he was on that private jet, that tells you everything you need to know about how big he was. You know who signed him, right? Ooh. It was this little young dude named Lil Bibby. He retired. He was the one on Vlad TV where they were talking about how, like, he lost 70 friends and all his friends that got killed were high. And he retired. He wasn't rapping very long. He started getting into real estate. He signed Juice WRLD. And, Juice WRLD was one of them kind of, he was a guy from Chicago, but he didn't really do the drill stuff. He did like my life, and let me jump off a bridge, and the emo kind of, he did that kind of stuff. They drug emo, I'm not happy, and but that was big. You got a lot of young kids sitting there listening to that little depressing ass emo bullshit, and they like it. And he was big, man. He was really big, and he would have been bigger. Okay, who's the top people? I said it was Drake. Okay, let me see. Drake, Lamar, NBA YoungBoy, Travis Scott, Future. Who's the other? He would have been like those guys. He was already pretty much there. He's on private jets. He's pretty much there. But he signed him, and he gets retired because he realized, he said, well, shit, ain't no sense of me putting myself in harm's way. It's dangerous being a rapper. I quit. That nigga quit.
You see what I'm saying, though, is like anytime you're on a private jet, unless you own it, even if you own it, that's just on movies where you're just getting on there and it's all good and you can just bring whatever you want. There's a lot of private planes you can't even smoke. You can't even smoke on the private. So that's how they got with the white boy. They knew the white boy got drugs. We're gonna go straight to him. They got him, and that white boy squealed on everything they needed. But they didn't need him as a witness because they know the defense could chop him up. So we'll just take what you told us and we'll go run with it. And we'll piece it together ourselves.
Now, you just sent me something. Let's take a look at this. We'll breeze past it because,
that's a pretty big subject right there. You talking about the jury? The juror?
Well, there's a lot of different moving parts that I've been looking at, and I'm like, okay, well, Jane got raided. Remember Jane? Jane got raided by Homeland Security. Sean's been paying her rent, paid for her lawyers, and she really didn't. They needed her, but I could tell she wasn't really throwing him to the wolves. It didn't seem like that. It was one of those things where they hit her with the Rico, like, okay, they probably just scared her. They said, okay, if you don't tell us
Oh
what
no,
we want.
they hit her with the Rico for sure.
So you're saying that they told her you're guilty.
They told everybody who. They even told Cassie.
So you're saying even people that were so-called victims, they just pulled up on them like, yeah, nigga, you about to go to jail.
Yep, not just Cassie, the sex worker. Everybody you seen testify against Diddy, besides maybe the second girl, the one that said he hung her off the balcony. Everybody besides her had a Rico over their head.
I'm really torn, bro. Because I'm like, this simping is kind of like, okay, we grew up, and like I say, I always knew he couldn't rap, but I'm like, as a mogul, this is a black mogul, like this is your legacy, dude. You're giving
Yep.
all of this away for pure simping. It's kind of like, do you
Gave
know?
his leverage away
I want
too.
my listeners to understand something tonight, man. We grew up in, well, you primarily grew up right, Cedar Riverside. We didn't grow up with no money. Do you know what we could do with $1 million? Just $1 million. Fuck it. We ain't even got to go to $1 million. Do you know what DP and Solomon could do with $500,000 if that,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
well,
saying?
do you also know what $500,000 can do to a person's mind? It can do
Well,
a lot. It can do a
I mean,
lot, man.
if you're already a
It can fuck with you. Yeah, it's just gonna make you be more of what you already
more
are.
you are, yeah.
You know, and he's a simp ass nigga, you know what I mean? He be
I
falling in
mean,
love, acting like a girl. And you see the number one reason he's in this position is because Cassie sued him. Cassie sued him. Cassie was ready to move on. Cassie sued him because he blackballed her career. He told every producer that she had contacts with, if you fuck with her, you're through with me. When
and
she
he had
found
that
that
power.
out,
He had that
yeah.
power. He
When
definitely
she
had that
found
power.
that out, so after they break up, she's with the white boy. And now, mind you, the white dude is a personal trainer that Diddy hired for her. So that's where a lot of like, okay, she just left me for a white boy.
Another
And it's a
simp.
trainer. Yeah, and a trainer I hired. Okay, that's what I'm upset about. And on top of that, yeah, like you said, I'm a simp. So he went to producers and said, don't fuck with her. She's seen that. She's obviously thinking she's got a chance to have a career, you know? Which she really didn't, but she thought she did.
Now
She
you
took
asked me.
that.
Go
She
ahead.
took that blackball in me. Now I don't have a career. All right, I'm gonna sue you. And the way and the feds even admitted to this, the way he paid her and the manner with which he paid her, hurry up and shut the fuck up, fastest settlement ever, showed them, wait a minute, there's something up here.
Oh yeah, they see that over 10,000. You know
So
the
when she
feds. If you
testified, when she testified, that was not her willing to like. She's already good. She got her bread. She testified because she had a RICO on her head too. RICOs for people, it's no different than in the military how they got rid of waterboarding. Threatening somebody with a RICO is equivalent to waterboarding somebody to get information. Because if I got a criminal enterprise and you've given me a ride somewhere before at a grocery store or you hung out while I was doing this criminal stuff, I could throw you in the RICO. With the
that's
idea,
how Rico and we
but
talked
with
about
the
this
idea,
before.
hold on, but the idea is to throw you in the RICO. It's the 6ix9ine effect and Gunna. It's not to throw you in the RICO because we actually think you did something. It's to throw you in the RICO because that's the only way we can ensure that you'll talk. You'll tell us what we need to know. We know that if we actually charge you with the RICO, we probably ain't gonna win. Are you willing to take that risk?
No, you're not. You're not going
Yeah,
to do that.
so guess what? You'll get people to start talking and telling things that didn't even happen.
Now, before you go
Same thing
on,
as waterboarding.
Now, before you go on, now the next couple subjects we gonna pick this up. But you were saying, well, DP, you're asking me the other day, why don't why is no big turn up in places like Louisiana when Angola? And you were like, why don't they do this and why don't they do that? And I said, think of Louisiana as a giant Rico, and I'm gonna explain that in a bit. We'll come back to that. So now they're talking about dismissing a black juror, and I just think of the Mann Act. So I'm torn because I'm like, okay, this simping, yeah, you probably did a bunch of foul shit, dude. But like when you said, well, DP, why ain't a bunch of foundationals really like stepping out? Folks is like, all right, dude, we not gonna throw you under the bus. We just ain't gonna say shit. We just not really gonna support you publicly like that because you done got over on a bunch of niggas. Now, the reason why a lot of black folks ain't just throwing him under the bus and stomping on him is because we realize that as a black man, yeah, you might have did something janky, but they let the white predators and white folks just get away with just everything. And the reality is this: is you don't necessarily have to be guilty as a rich black man. You're a threat already. So we're like, all right, this nigga probably did some janky shit, but that could be me. What I'm trying to say is most black folks, and from what I mean, even at work, I done had people pull me to the side, like, man, this ain't no damn Rico. This is domestic. This is a big got slapped and got 30 million. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the nigga's a piece of shit, but because see, we realize like this. It's not that we're just dismissing the fact that he did some piece of shit stuff and he's simping. It's that DP and Solomon can easily be in those shoes and be completely innocent. By default, we could be making think about it, bro. Your company, and I'm not going to say the numbers, but your company could do, let's say your company does 400,000 next year. And then the company that I have does the same or more or whatever the case may be. At some point, there's going to be somebody, even when we're reporting our taxes and doing stuff like that, it's going to be some race soldier in Minnesota that's like, wait a minute. These Negroes are squeaky clean and are getting some serious money. We need to take a look at that. And we didn't really do anything wrong, but you're going to have some little funny things going on. Folks are going to be, they're just going to do that by osmosis. It's going to be something, especially if we ain't cooning. If we're not tap dancing and ass kissing and being sambos, it's going to be somebody that's going to say, hey, you didn't do something right. And we're like, no, we're squeaky clean. We're black. In order for us to make $100,000 to $1 million, you didn't do that by just bullshitting. Oh no. If you made that kind of money, man, you earned that every dime. You didn't get no $100,000 just from effing off. Now if you was on some feeding our futures type shit or whatever, and even them, they're talking about cutting folks loose because all of a sudden we don't have the resources. But they just charged a foundational woman. They just hit her with with part of the RICO because she didn't have $1 million. They talking about cutting other folks loose. Black Americans just let us. Oh well, we just gonna let you off the hook. You done made $1 million under this fraud. No. They don't operate like that. So now, if you're legit, you had to bust your ass to get that money. If you ain't on no flim flam or you ain't on no larceny, man, you had to earn all of that bread. And we still got people that they'll do something like, oh well, he didn't have this zoning, or they'll just make up some I'm white not say so. So that's the reason, I'm telling you, that's why a lot of black folks were like, yeah, this nigga done did some, this royalty thing that ain't cool, and yeah, you might have slapped the broad up a little bit, but we looking at it like, okay. Yeah, you got your ass beat by 30 million. This is a nigga that got shot over north for $500. Well, that's how we see it. We like, okay, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't gonna, we not really gonna throw you to the fire, because we realize that if we get legit, we gonna have some folks. Them folks gonna start messing with us, and we're totally legit. And we gonna have to get lawyers and tax people and all this just to they'll be mad at us as just being $1 million nigga from Minnesota that ain't a coon. That's a big problem, especially in this state. You asked why you, and here's a prime example. We'll move on to the next thing. Master P. Master P was from New Orleans. Now, why did he have to move his studio to Baton Rouge, bro? Baton Rouge is about maybe 40, 50, 60 minutes away. He's the same place from New Jack's from. Well, you talking about a plantation system. Like I said, I'll touch on this in a minute again. You're talking about a state that's a giant RICO. This is not a post-slavery plantation state. This is like an open plantation state. You've seen all of the things that these sheriffs and wardens and all these damn politicians do out in the open in Louisiana. Open corruption, open plantation corruption with nobody to challenge it. The state's pretty much a giant RICO when it comes to blacks. So now think about it. You're an independent black man. You're legit. You're coming from the Bay Area. You're picking up the game from the Bay. And now you $100 million nigga in Louisiana. You think these race soldiers just gonna go for that? They was giving that man hell when he was getting property and studios and all kind of stuff. And he was completely legit. 100%. You see what I'm saying? Birdman, Lil Boosie, all those guys, they had to leave. They can't stay in no place like that. You got more money than the damn warden and the judge. They're not gonna let you be a black man coming from a place like that. And, even if you did some things that was wrong back in the day, but here's the thing, like, we can't use the measurement of the race soldier from the measurement of a nigga that was selling crack and he ain't doing it no more. He was coming from a place of need. These wardens and corruptions, these wardens and these people in politics, they already got high paying ass jobs. They don't need nothing. They weren't in a situation where they're like, damn, man, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get diapers. They didn't never have that situation. So if you tell niggas, well, let's take the moral high ground and they was wrong, niggas sold a little crack and turned it around. That's what Miami did. The whole city of Miami did that. That's what Vegas did. Vegas is all built off corruption. Every single dime. The mafia, please. So I'm not really with the, yeah, he used to do this and now he done funneled the money. I don't give a damn. And that's the way that people are kind of looking at it like, all right, well, yeah, Sean, you done smacked some broads up, you done cheated some niggas, but on some street shit, we ain't gonna throw you under the bus because we know if we get legit, they treat us like a legit nigga could be 100% legit. And they could treat him like a straight criminal when it comes to his taxes and all kinds of different things. You see what I'm saying? So that's why when it came to the black support, black folks were, they have little jokes online and stuff like that, but folks wasn't really breaking their necks to just say, leave them alone. But at the same time, we're like, we ain't gonna just kick them under the rug. Because we understand, we understand the little games these folks play. They'll turn around and basically say, well, Sean, look, Weinstein just had a mistrial. This nigga done been in court about 1,000 times. He done raped all types of broads. You know what I'm saying? This nigga got a mistrial. And they're asking for a mistrial for this black juror right now because I think it's the only black person on the jury. You done charge a man with the Mann Act. So we got to look at that. And we got to also look at one of the jury members. And I don't know if it was the same person, but he said something about he could just buy the jury. That's supposed to be a mistrial off the rip. You can't say nothing like that. Then there was another situation where the government knew that the last chick before Jane, they knew that she was committing perjury. She was committing perjury. She didn't have the dates right. Feds go through this over and over with you when they hit you with that RICO. Like Cassie and all them, they sat for hours and hours and hours and be like, hey, man, don't say this, don't say that. They're not supposed to do that, but they do. They do that all the time because they want to make their case. So that's number two. So that's strike number two. Number one, you had the jury that said something bogus in the beginning. The judge said no. He's not going to let a mistrial. The second thing, you got an open perjury going on. She said no. Or he said no. Now, you have you trying to kick the black juror off. So they're asking for. So this is a third mistrial. So now, if I was Sean, I would let it play out, and I'd contact Donald. You want half a bad boy? Give it to your son.
Yeah, but
Yeah, before you get out of office, just get me out.
the juror,
That's what I would do.
the juror did it to himself, though, man. The juror, he's laughing in the court, laughing when he's hearing shit.
Oh, he was doing that?
Yeah, he think they
Oh,
want to kick
hell
him off for
no.
no reason.
Oh
No,
shit,
he was
I didn't know that.
smirking. He started laughing and shit whenever he'd hear some bullshit.
Oh, okay.
And that's why
Okay.
Diddy's like, he got to stay. Because he's acknowledging that what the jury, what the witnesses are saying is bullshit.
There was a woman on the jury that they said, I think it was the woman before Jane, and they could tell she was saying some BS, and the woman was kind of smiling like, man, she lying. You know what I'm saying? And see, Diddy made a mistake because he's nodding his head. The judge told him last week, he said, look, man, don't be doing that. Don't be, because we still don't know, like, and I didn't know this until you told me. I didn't think they could make money like this. But when you told me, like, hey, man, these folks gonna make money when they get off the stand. They got a story to tell. I'm like, what kind of money? They could make books and stuff. And you're like, yeah, bro.
Especially
this
the
is a
juror,
story.
the dude that's trying to get kicked off. He ain't dumb. He knows if you start laughing in court, they're going to kick you off that jury. He's probably trying to get hurt. Let me hurry up and get kicked off so I can get my book deal.
Video deals, movie deals. Gene.
Deals. When the Today Show comes to your house, and that's 10 bands.
10 bands, huh?
Every time. Them to CNN, all them motherfuckers, and they get you on the satellite, and that's 10 bands.
Damn. That's some good
And if
money.
you want to do it, and then you got a book deal, that's going to be at least 300.
That's shit. That's good money for a nigga that ain't never had no money like that.
But the thing is you got to take into account that that ain't for all 12 jurors.
Right. Yeah.
That's for who wants to do that, and B, who has the ability to do it. Who can do the interviews and who can talk well, who can sell books.
So
if
if
I
you're
was
some
on that
mush
jury,
mouth, if you're some
if I was on
mumble
that
mush
jury,
mouth, you can't.
I try to make eye contact with Diddy's lawyers. If I was on that jury, like, hey, and then I'd have somebody I know go to them lawyers' office. Like I call you, man, go down there to them lawyers' office and let them know the guy with the curly hair, he's trying to slide. Yeah, he's gonna need something though,
It told me about 5 racks, man. We can make this happen.
5
You know
racks.
what I'm saying?
You got me fucked up. 5 racks, nigga. Throw a couple zeros behind that. How about 5 million?
Oh, to throw the okay.
Throw some money in my bank account, nigga. I promise you, I won't be saying guilty.
Oh shit!
They're gonna have to fight
gosh.
me. Them other jurors gonna have to fight me, man. I'm gonna stand on it. No, he ain't do that shit.
Now you had a question. Go ahead.
The only way they can't write books though is some judges can put that in a gag order.
Oh, they might do that this time. They just might.
Yeah.
They might.
No, I don't think it happened. He didn't do it beforehand. You can't do. You can't just come up and start doing that. You gotta let him know beforehand. He should have allowed. The judge should have allowed whatchamacallit. He should have allowed the cameras in there.
Oh, we got some people coming in. Opong Francis, what's happening? Mina Abina, what's going on? These might have been some of my longtime listeners and stuff. It might have been. I don't know. I ain't been on here live in so long, and this is like a new channel, so they might not be. They might be I don't know if they're accustomed to. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, we go super hard and stuff. Mina Abina. They jumped in. I think somebody jumped. Some people jump in and they jump out, whatever. But now let's go to the next thing, and then we're gonna get on New Jack because we have to spend a considerable amount of time with Louisiana once again because there's some new developments. Now, you were saying that if they let Hoover out, he's gonna have some control. And I'm like, man, ain't nobody really gonna, this dude's 70 years old. He's been in, you gotta think he was a kid when he went in almost. He was like 20-something years old. He was like 20 years old when he went in 1973. The laws and everything was completely different. See, I used to think, you remember like in Minneapolis, when I used to be like hearing niggas be like, man, on Larry and all that, I used to think that, because I didn't know too much, I used to think that, Hoover he just went to jail in like 96 or something like you know what I'm saying? For real, I didn't know that he had been down like forever. Like the way they made it seem is or the way that I took it is just a bunch of GDs running around in the city, and he's sending GDs here and there, and they moving drugs within the last 5 years, and it's just a big conglomerate of just niggas all across the nation that's just gang banging because of him. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. And so when I really did some research, I said, damn, this nigga's been in jail since 1973. Like, how the hell did he have all this damn control? Like, so he went in jail for a murder in 1973. And you know how I am, bro. If it's some street niggas and you didn't touch no kids or women, I don't care what you do. I don't. If I'm from the streets and a nigga owe me money and ain't no women or children involved, and I do something to him, to me, that's charging to the game. We in the streets. There ain't no rules. That's how I see it. If these dudes want to if these dudes don't harm no women or kids and don't nobody get harmed, and these niggas want to shoot the shit out of each, if they want to meet in the back alley or in between some concrete buildings and shoot the shit out of each other, I don't have a problem with that. Handle your business, man on man, like the Wild West. I have no issue with that whatsoever, as long as nobody don't get hurt. Now, when folks start getting hurt, that's a problem. Now, see, so they say that he robbed a drug dealer or something like that, or he set a drug dealer up to get whacked. Or so, I don't know. I can't remember what the case was. I'm gonna have to pull it up. I ain't tripping. This is, we criminals. We in the street. So I don't care what you do to another criminal. I don't. So they locked him up for that, and they gave him like 100 years or something crazy. I don't know what they gave him. But what they really had an issue with was in like 93, they charged him with it was like a RICO pretty much, or something like that. They basically were saying like, look, dude, you've been locked down for X amount of time. I don't know how he did this shit, bro. I really don't know how. But he was locked up since 1973. But they were saying that what he did was he was requesting like a draft. Like, for example, if you a GD, he might say, all right, man, you owe me $5 a week. And you got to pay it. You got to come to these meetings. You got to do this. And even if you weren't a gang banger, like if you was just like a working class 9-to-5 nigga, but you was a GD, okay, you got to kick in maybe $5 a week, or, you got to, for the mob or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Everybody chip in. So you got some niggas that might be working. You got some niggas that might be selling drugs or whatever. So you chip in. And they saying, okay, that's a criminal enterprise. So that's what them 200 years, I think, was what they was hitting them for. We can't let this dude out because he has too much control in the penitentiary. He was already in a state penitentiary, but they charged him with the feds and they sent him to ADX Florence, Colorado. Pretty much they just put him in a basement that's just all concrete. No life a day. I mean, you literally ain't getting you're pretty much buried alive. So they put him in there with the Unabomber and the Oklahoma dude and pretty much the worst of the worst. The people that they're never, ever going to let them out. They sent him to ADX Florence. ADX Florence is a federal penitentiary where when they put you to bury, it's like the Angola for the feds. You ain't getting out. There's no possible way for escape. I'm talking about, it's almost like Guantanamo Bay, bro. It's impossible for you to get out. Totally impossible. You will never get out unless you have like a Apache helicopter and a whole military to come out and break you out. You ain't getting out. They'll put people like that in there. So they gave him like 200. Well, Donald basically said, I'm a commuter. Nigga, you 70 years old, and you ain't really gonna be able to do nothing. Please, I'm from Ghana. I don't understand English. Well, this is an English channel, sir. I'm not understanding what you mean. Please, I am from Ghana. I don't understand English. You understand English just fine. What do you want me to tell you? Somebody's in the chat saying they don't understand English. Okay, let's break it down for them. All right, so look. Hoover was given 200 years in the feds. 200 years. Donald basically said, all right, I'm wiping the slate clean, but you still got 200 years, or you still have your state sentence. That original murder that they charged him with, he still has to do the state sentence. Just like I told you about Chauvin. I would like my 12-inch hot hoagie with deep dish hamburger. You're not gonna be. You think you're gonna be getting that supersized Sprite, bro? Ain't happening. Chauvin's not gonna leave Oak Park Heights. If he gets commuted from the feds, he's going to Oak Park Heights to do the last 22 years. The governor's gonna have to.
He'll be home. He'll be home by the end of the summer.
Man, Tampon Tim, unless of course Tampon Tim is indicted in this recent stuff that they think, I mean, he's not gonna let Chauvin come home. That's a governor commute. The governor has to sign off on that.
He'll have no choice.
By who?
Donald.
Well, Donald's Fed. He's the commander in chief. He's the feds, bro. He don't do state unless he comes up with some for what you saying he could do. He'd have to, man. I don't know how he would do this. He would have to get somebody in the state to like modify the state constitution or something crazy like that. How would he do that? This is a state issue now.
He'll bully him into doing it.
Well, I mean, if he could pull that off. I mean, now I don't know what he'll do, but now if he signs it, then yeah. If he signs it, if Tim signs it, yeah, he could do that if he signs it. All it takes is the governor. The governor can commute the sentence.
Tim might be resigning here soon, so.
Well, yeah, shit, man. It's not looking good, bro. It's not looking good. This is because he's connected. He's connected. This dude, and I remember I told you earlier, I said, bro, he's ex-military. When you told me what happened, because I didn't know what happened, when you sent me that article, I said, that's ex-military. And then you sent me a new article, was it the next day? Like, yeah, bro, that's ex-military. I knew he was ex-military. Ex-military moves like that. Y'all still ain't got this dude. He had a manifesto.
Did you see the clip I sent you earlier today from a couple of days ago where people on Congress are questioning Waltz and they're saying, why are you lying? Why are you lying to the people? From 2 days ago?
Yeah.
That's how I think that press conference and that little cipher they were having, I think ties into what happened the other day.
So, and then here's the next part as to why. I'm gonna tell you, if they let Hoover out tomorrow, he's not gonna have a long line. You gotta understand, bro. Dude's Hoover is almost 70 years old. Larry Hoover's almost 70 years old, bro.
Nah.
Everybody that would listen to him is like 50 plus. They got kids. They moved on. They're not really. It's not gonna be so like
all these kids saying on Larry, on Hoover, on Larry. They're not going to see Larry Hoover out and worship him.
No, okay. Let me ask you this: next time you hear somebody say "on Larry," ask him, "Hey man, would you pay Larry's rent for 6 months?"
Maybe not one of them, but if everybody contributed a few dollars,
they're not gonna do it, bro. Because half
Larry
of
Hoover not gonna want for nothing.
No, well, okay, you might get an Adam 22 or Vlad TV. Yeah, they might give him a couple dollars or something. But what I'm saying is you're not going to have, he's not going to be in a mansion. You see what I'm saying? He's not going to be in a mansion where a bunch of folks basically say, well, I have to do it. And furthermore, Larry's not going to come out and start pointing the fingers at folks and demanding draft. He's not going to be doing like how they say he did back, in 93, 94 when they hit him with them Fed charges, talking about, well, hey, you got to pay up and this, that, and the third. I mean, at one point he was having black folks go out there to vote. He had a lot of power, bro. And I want you to hear this, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, this comes from a gangbanging ass nigga. This is the reason why it's not going to be a thing where everybody's going to break their neck to say, well, let's resurrect what you were doing before, and he's gonna have people out here shooting folks. It ain't gonna happen, bro. That man is gonna go home and live the rest of his days if he gets out, and I don't think he's getting out. But here's the audio as to why.
You know what I'm saying? I don't.
Fair use, YouTube. Fair use.
There was an Instagram post you put up, and it was about Larry Hoover and Jeff Fort being appalled at the Tyshawn Lee murder, right?
Yeah.
And the caption was, if Larry and Malik had more contact with the outside world, do you think that they could help solve the crime in the black communities? Chicagoans, what do you think? And you said, hell the fuck nah.
You can finish reading.
He said, bet nobody even lie and act like they could, because first of all, nobody knows shit about them under the age of 25. I'll say the
Now
dudes.
that right there. Now this is a dude. He can rap pretty good. He's a guy named G Herbo. He's from Chicago. He's saying anybody under the age of 25, they don't even know who that nigga is. The average dude that you're talking about when you hear somebody talking about Long Larry, they don't even know that he's been in jail since 1973. They also don't know this as well, bro, that I'm getting ready to tell you. They also a lot of them don't even know that the BDs and the GDs used to all be one. They had a split. They had a split where they didn't agree with something and they decided to go part ways. You see what I'm saying? They used to be called the Black Gangster Disciples. A lot of people don't know that. So when you hear like the little drill rappers talking about, oh, GDK, BDK, and we don't get along and all that, they got a war, or they had one that was real big. They don't get along. And you would think, well, they all folks, they gonna get along. No, them niggas will shoot shit out each other. What you think that 63rd old block thing was over? They don't get along, bro, at all. That divided Chicago. That whole little war divided Chicago. They don't get along like that, bro. You see what I'm saying? So these dudes, this rapper dude here, he's telling you that the support is not gonna be that big. I'm gonna play a little more.
Over 25, 30, not on shit. It's a handful who frontline still.
And I said this, first of all, I'm going to break it down. I said this because I'm 20. I know literally zero about Larry Hoover.
Now keep in mind, bro, he's from Chicago. This was 9 years ago. He's probably about 30 or more right now. He's saying that he's 20 years old and he grew up in Chicago. You and I both didn't grow up in Chicago. We just might have met some of the remnants from Chicago. So when you say, well, these kids that say on Larry, well, they're not going to know. This dude's from Chicago when he said they don't know. They're from the land and they don't know. He was 20 years old when he did this video with Vlad TV.
He's my league, but the legendary stories. They're not out here I'm not saying they not out here in this. Of course, their name is gonna always be in the streets. They have street ties. Of course, they have sons, nephews, all that who still in the streets and they have street ties. But do I know their nephews? You know what I'm saying? And you gotta know in Chicago, with the shit going on, is with the youth, bro. Everybody know the killing is with the youth. The youth is doing the killing. You know what I'm saying? It's our generation that's out here doing everything. Old niggas not out here killing each other. They barely, they trying to get some money. And the old niggas that's on the streets, guess what they doing? Passing the guns down to they little homies. You feel me? So at the end of the day, if you think like me and got the mindset, if I'm in the streets, I'm doing this killing, I'm risking my life, my freedom every day. Can't nobody tell me shit about my life and what I'm doing. You not out here putting this work in with me front line. Now for the cowards who out here killing kids and shit like that, I don't speak for them. I can't speak for them. You know what I'm saying? I don't speak for those guys. But I'm saying this because the guys who act like all this, like, y'all not doing anything for these kids. You're not putting no money in their pocket. You're not creating no opportunities for them, And I don't know if Larry Hoover and Chief Malik was doing that. I don't know. And a lot of people don't know. Like, nobody respecting no gangs. There's no chiefs. There's nobody above nobody, no man 30.
You heard what he said, bro? He said nobody's respecting no gangs. That's very, when you think about what he just said, he said nobody's respecting no gangs. He's pretty much saying we really don't give a damn about this gang shit. We don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna listen to you in so many words.
Nobody finna come on no block, especially not on my block, and tell me shit. You're not telling me nothing. I'm not listening to you. You wasn't out here with me. You wasn't with me when none of my homies got killed. Nothing. You wasn't with me when I was risking my life. Anything. You didn't put $1 in my pocket. You're not feeding my mother. You're not risking your life with me to feed my mother. You can't tell me shit. Period. Like,
Yeah.
you wasn't out here risking your life with me. You don't know what I think about at night. You not know what I'm going through. You don't know why half this killing going on. I'm talking about for the niggas like me who in the streets, who got real street ties and this blood that been shed behind stuff that's in the streets, you know? Shit like that. Now, as far as people who just out here killing miscellaneous and all this coward shit that's going on, I can't speak on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just where I said that, because can't nobody tell me shit. And if you a young nigga like me and you think like me, can't nobody tell you shit either.
Now you got to think about this, bro. He got a lot of fans. He got a lot of people that's probably watching this Vlad TV. There's, you know how the young folks is, man. They might listen to something and they be like, yeah, man, I ain't about to listen to these old niggas. That's why I was telling you, bro. These dudes coming home from prison that's been around. It's, you know, they might come home and say, yeah, man, you know, I'm the leader of this old gang, the 70th, man. They ain't trying to hear nothing. You heard what he said about gangs. He said, we don't give a fuck about no gangs. He said, fuck gangs. I don't care about no gangs. See, when Hoover and Jeff Fort and those guys were out, there was some kind of level of hierarchy. They actually, and that's why he got the RICO, because they're like, okay, this is a criminal enterprise. You know, they had actual books, bro. Like they had actual, they called it literature. And if you didn't know your literature back in the day, you get beat up. They had meetings. It was literally like a corporate enterprise. If you were to take the crime away and the murder and all that kind of stuff, and you were to bring those dudes in a corporate building in downtown Minneapolis and say, all right, let's make this a Fortune 500 company, you're looking at $100 million company. That's what they were saying Hoover was doing. They said he was making like $100 million a year or something crazy like that. You're talking about somebody with the mindset of a Fortune 500 company CEO, but just add some cocaine and some drug and some gang shit with it. They're saying your gang was a corporate gang enterprise like the mafia. We're giving you 200 years. If Larry Hoover would have been out and there was no violence, Larry Hoover would have been Jeff Bezos. Do you know that? He would have been Zuckerberg. If there was no violence and no drugs, he would have been like a Zuckerberg with that corporate enterprise. That's how much money they would have made. And if it would have been all legit, and you said, okay, ain't no black folks getting shot, ain't none of that going on. Basically, they're saying, nigga, you're running a corporate criminal enterprise. You have books, you have rules. You know, they used to have rules, and it was maybe 80s or prior. They used to have stuff back where you had to come to meetings. Do you know if you don't show up to that meeting, you get your ass stomped to dust? They used to call them violations, bro. You snatch an old lady's pocketbook or something like that, you might get beat half to death. That was Sister Jenkins that you robbed. There was rules. Oh, I'm just going to go shoot up this block. Oh, no. You got to get permission to do that. Well, this nigga owe me money. Okay, let's have a meeting. Why do you want to do that? Why you want to go shoot that block up? Oh, well, yeah, man. You know, he smashed my baby mom. Oh, nigga, don't you do that. You do that and we going to green light you. Well, I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, well, you're going to get a violation. You do this again, we going to green light you. They used to have enforcers like a real mob, bro. That's why all them, you know, a lot of them dudes in Chicago say, oh, the mob. They have a mob. You do something out of pocket, they have an actual enforcer. They got a dude that's known for putting in work. He gonna come up to your house, pull you out your car, and beat the living shit out of you, if not kill you. Depending on what your infraction was, there was rules. There was rules. I'm not saying they were good rules. I'm just saying that there was rules. You had to abide by a chain of command. You see what I'm saying? There's a movie called 1992 by Tyrese Gibson, and rest in peace Ray Liotta. Rest in peace to him. That was like his last movie before he passed. You've seen Goodfellas. A lot of us have seen Goodfellas. Multiple other movies that he's done. Ray Liotta did a movie with Tyrese where there was like a bank heist. It's called 1992. It's based off the 92 riots. You know, when Rodney King was attempted lynching, or you could say the lynching, even though he didn't get killed, the attempted lynching of Rodney King. Now, in this movie 1992, you have Tyrese as a dude called OG Mercer. He became like a mechanic or something like that. And, you know, he got out of prison. He was trying to do the straight and narrow. And this dude was a very well-respected OG in South Central. That's what the story kind of based off. He goes into a store. And in this store, it's two black men that try to rob the store. They get real slick at the mouth with the, you know what I'm saying, with the Asian cashier, or whatever the case may be, because you know that's what they did. They flooded a lot of immigrants into the black neighborhoods, made sure they had businesses because they didn't want them in the white neighborhoods, so they threw them in the black neighborhoods. And so now they trying to rob the store, or I think they mad, you know, just being a nuisance or whatever the case may be. And OG Mercer, he happens to be in the store during that time. He got off of work. And he's telling the young dudes, hey, man, put the gun away. And they say, well, I ain't got to listen to you and all this kind of stuff. Like, they didn't know who he was. He just came home from prison, and he's trying to work, and he got a son of his own. So his son's living with him, and he's trying to keep his son on the straight and narrow. And so he's trying to change his life. So he's telling these young dudes with the gun. They pull the gun out, and they tell him, yeah, man, we'll smoke you up in this store, and we'll do this to you and do that. So he's pointing the gun at people, and he points the gun at OG Mercer, and he points it and puts it right on his temple and says, yeah, nigga, how that feel? We'll whack you out here. We'll unalive you out here. This, that, and the third. He said, how that feel? How does pistol feel to your face? You know what OG Mercer tell him? It feels familiar. He said it feels familiar. And the young dude kind of looks at him like, man, this dude ain't scared at all. Like, yeah, no, this is an OG. He done been through the war. He ain't really tripping on you. He said it feels familiar. So he didn't know. So there was some other younger guys that was a little younger than OG Mercer that seen the guy pull the pistol out on OG Mercer. And once they seen it, he starts snapping. Hey, what you doing? What the hell you doing? And so he must have been a dude that was a higher rank than the guy that was pulling the pistol out of OG Mercer. These little young dudes, they don't know shit. You know what I'm saying? So that dude walks up to the young dude with the pistol and pimp smack the fuck out of him. Tries to break his damn jaw. I mean, smacks the shit out of him. Like, man, you know who the hell that is? He said, that's the OG. That's OG Mercer. So, you know, the little young dudes, they terrified now. Like, oh, shit. Because, see, you done disrespected the OG. That's ground to get you whacked. You see what I'm saying? So I think they made him apologize or something like that. And, so there was rules. You couldn't, according to the government, if you get an order from Hoover around that time, that's coming from the prison. I'm talking about before he went to Florida, went to ADX. You say something talking about you get an order. Hey, we need this to happen. Oh, I ain't gonna do it. Oh, you gonna do it. Ain't no, I ain't gonna do it. And so that's why the government was like, all right, well, shit. You have a corporate enterprise, a criminal enterprise. You have what they said. They said you're unaliving people. You have connection to a nationwide gang. Around this time, there's primarily in Chicago, but you got Chicago, you got Gary, maybe some in Texas and different places. So you have control over a gang like a corporate criminal enterprise. So we're going to put you in Florida, or not Florida, I keep saying Florida. we're going to put you in Colorado ADX Florence, where you will not have any control of the GDs ever. That's why they put them there. That's why they put them there. I'm going to play a little video and we'll move on to New Jack. We'll move on to... But now, before we do, I got some audio that I want to play for you. And I want to see what you think about this here.
Take this shit somewhere else. All this shit. I'm asking, I'm telling. Take this shit somewhere else. Please. Take this shit somewhere else. Hey, bring that shit in. Take this shit somewhere else. Come on now, right now. Hurry up. Somewhere else. I'm gonna make them leave. Oh, G. I'm gonna make them leave. Roll the shit right now. I'm asking, I'm telling you. They all come in. They all come in. Y'all had a great time. I love it. I love it. Y'all had a great time. Hey, y'all had a great time. All cameras down. All cameras down. All cameras down. Take it somewhere else.
Yes, we on that. We on that.
Y'all miss it on my spot.
Yeah, no, we on that. We on that.
It's all respect, it's all respect. That's all.
Now, when you had showed me that clip, I noticed that nobody got slick at the mouth. Did you notice that?
Yeah. Nobody got slick at the mouth with him, you know. I mean, he said, I'm trying to get hold of my daughter. What the fuck is y'all doing?
Nobody, and I noticed the younger guys kept saying OG. I noticed that none of the crowd, it was about 200 people out there, and I didn't hear anybody say anything slick at the mouth. Like, man, we gonna keep partying, we gonna keep protesting and all this or whatever they were doing. I think they were rioting.
When he started shoving people, they did.
You said what?
When he started shoving people.
He was shoving
like,
people? I didn't see nobody shoving people.
Is that the light-skinned guy, New York, the one that's saying, I got to get home to my daughter?
No. This is, okay, this is a clip in L.A. They were doing donuts or they were getting ready to riot or they're getting ready to do something. And some OG dude told him he said, yeah, rolling 60s. He said, I'm not asking. He said, I'm asking and I'm telling.
Yeah.
He said, I'm asking and I'm telling. I love what y'all doing. Y'all kicking it, whatever, but y'all got to move around.
Yeah, y'all.
And so you making the block hot.
Yeah, you ain't finna damage shit up here. You ain't finna get the feds rolling up in here, seeing what we got going on and shit. Nah, fuck you.
I noticed that nobody got slick at the mouth.
The natives did the same thing over here during George Floyd. Yeah,
they did?
During the George Floyd rioting, the natives had it where you couldn't even get into Little Earth.
Oh, they did?
Oh, yeah. They had about 10 natives on each stop sign from Harks all the way down to that bridge. And they was not letting anybody through. Me and my homie, we were just driving around during I had to get out of my friend's truck and tell him, nigga, we live right across the street. We don't give a fuck about what y'all doing. We ain't here to vandalize shit. And they let us get through, but their whole thing was nobody's coming over here vandalizing.
There were some brothers on Broadway that were ex-military. I think they did a great job. Folks was trying to, and that was another thing, like I was telling you before, like I had reliable resources where there was a lot of race soldiers coming through with vans and all kind of stuff, because some of them race soldiers were coming from places like Wisconsin, Illinois. It wasn't just people that were just on 38th that just wanted to just be out there. There was some people that was trying to take cheap shots.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about rival gang members and stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about.
I lost a good friend because of that.
Yeah. I mean,
I lost a very good friend. No, he came out here from. I had a friend that I met when I lived in Colorado.
Okay.
And he was from Wisconsin, but he had moved to South or North Dakota, one of the Dakotas. And he called me and he said, "Hey man, what's going on?" This is during the Floyd stuff.
Okay.
He said, "What's going on up there, man, in Minnesota? I'm trying to come up there and see what's going on." I said, "All right, come on." He drove out here from South Dakota or North Dakota. And, he wanted to go riot, though.
Oh.
I said, "Hey, brother, I don't do that. First of all, you know what I mean? Second of all, I live here. I'm gonna get caught and I have a distinguished look, so I'm not getting fired. And I'm not doing that. This motherfucker got so mad with me. We were supposed to, so I'm like, we ain't gonna go riot. Let's just go over here to this bar and let's just enjoy ourselves, see if we can't get a bitch or something.
Right.
So I went in the bathroom to take a shower. By the time I came out, he left. I ain't talked to him since. I ain't talked to him since. He was thinking, I'm gonna come out here. I'm not from here. I'm gonna riot, get me a couple of TVs and shit, and then I'm gone.
Oh hell no! Yeah, you couldn't let him do that. You were letting him know, like, nah, bro.
Yeah, he got me fucked up. And I had just got involved in business then, so I wasn't even really worried about that. Just at that point, I mean, come on, I was out there.
Yeah, I remember
And
you sent me the live.
But I had an epiphany. I was out there, and I have protested in multiple states for different things in my life, you know. But man, I'm sitting out there, I'm talking to these kids, and I'm trying to tell them, look, man, these motherfuckers that are sitting here acting like they're press, they're just recording you doing it. These white kids, these kids was dying for George Floyd, man, and something hit me. I said, wait a minute. Floyd family got a $27 million settlement, a likeness and image deal with America. And I'm sitting up here about to get hit with a concussion grenade for what? And I don't see not one member of George Floyd's family out here. Not one. I said, let me take my ass home and I will never riot, protest, anything ever again.
No, yeah, and that's what I said. Remember last time we were talking, I said, look, the protest is not supposed to be the end of the means. It's a means of the protest, but not an end of the means. And the thing is, I think about the black businesses on 38th in Chicago right now. There's a place called Smoke in the Pit. Very good wings. There's a turkey place. And I think about 38th, there should be a Freedmen's Bank. It should look like Tulsa, Oklahoma right now, before Tulsa was annihilated by the race soldiers that did a mass murder. That's how our city's supposed to look. And as far as I'm concerned, it's not looking nowhere near what it should. And, there's several reasons because of that. But that's problematic to me because you have black business owners that are basically saying they're not getting the support. Let's see if we get some audio on that. We could cover that. Then we're going to go straight to New Jack. Let me see if we can get to that.
So you're saying there's black business owners on 38th?
Yeah, there's black business owners. There's a couple restaurants.
Yeah, well, you have to understand something. There's something that people don't understand. Like the other day, I have a friend from Elk River. They be coming out here. And he was like, hey, man, I want to go over there to the George Floyd Square. I said, good luck. Go ahead. Yeah. I said, I'm not going to go anywhere. There's nowhere in the world I'm going to go if you tell me police and ambulance are not allowed over here. What? There's no chance I'm going. Why? I'm safer in prison. There's no chance. So if you can't even drive over there, so these business owners have to get Donald Hooker and the other lady that's above him that are the representation, I guess, for George Floyd Square. They got to get them. But what they really need to do is talk to the state, because the state of Minnesota, nobody punked them out of 38th. Okay, they just say y'all can have this for a little while, and so y'all can feel important. There's no right. Anytime they can just get up and say, "All right, this is over." You know what I mean? Ambulances and cars can come back. Bye.
Now look at this. I want to play this audio, then we'll go over to the next subject, New Jack. Check this out.
Harrelson showing folks around.
He said, I can't breathe. 27.
That monument where George Floyd lost his life is now officially called George Perry Floyd Square.
But still, 5 years later, plans for the square's future remain stalled. Eric Shalou shows us the challenges that space still faces.
It's very humbling to see, like, you guys come out here.
At the corner of 38th and Chicago in Minneapolis,
George Floyd's mother and I are sisters.
You can often find Angela Harrelson showing folks around.
He said, I can't breathe 27 times.
Harrelson showed these visitors the spot where the world learned her nephew's name, George Floyd.
I was just shocked. Like,
I know.
My soul. What do
You know, I'm seeing a lot of space. What bothers me, bro, is the trauma bonding. If I go up there, the first thing I'm gonna think about is a murder, and the next thing is I'm looking to my left and right, like, man, let me hurry up and go get this food. And you're telling me they don't allow no ambulances up there? That's problematic. That's very problematic, bro.
You can't even drive.
to have happen here?
Well, of course, I want a permanent memorial. I feel like once that permanent memorial's here, that's the game changer. It's going to set that stage up for so many possibilities surrounding it.
5 years later, the city of Minneapolis has not finalized a plan for this space. City Hall estimates more than $2.2 million has been spent on the process. Some people will look at this and say it's been 5 years. And
$2 million to do what? I don't see $2 million.
There's not.
$2 million, nigga. Do you know what I can do with $2 million on 38 to do what?
No, their thing is this. It's like, let them have it for a little while.
Man,
Third
bro,
precinct,
I don't.
Same thing happened with Third Precinct.
I don't
They
see
knew.
$2 million, man. What the hell did they do with
They
$2
said
million?
They invested $2 million in the area.
To do what? I don't
Okay,
see it.
how much does new street pavement cost? Reworking the
Maybe,
sidewalk.
I don't know, 300 grand or something, maybe
All right,
400.
then you can get to $2 million pretty quick. How much does new traffic lights cost?
So we can't get
How
a
much does a new
Freedman's
bus
Bank
stop
for
cost?
100. We can't get one of them buildings up there for the $250,000
So
and
what
get
are
a.
you telling me? You're expecting white people to give y'all a bank?
No,
Then go get it yourselves. There's
no.
enough wealthy black people in Minnesota where they can open up their own bank.
I'm
Over here
saying
on Franklin, the
saying
Somali community opened up their own bank.
Here's my issue. The folks that's squawking, that's my issue. The folks that's up there squawking about, well, this, that, and the third. Where is the people that have been up there that have been getting clout? You know who I'm talking about.
Donald Hooker.
I have not heard one person in this city
name.
that said there should be a Freedman's Bank. I'm the only person. I'm the only nigga that says that there should be nobody else. Y'all didn't ask Al Sharpton and Jesse and all them niggas that was up there taking pictures. Nobody asked about a Freedman's Bank reparations. Nobody said anything.
You got
Let's
enough
just put a bunch of
wealthy ball
artwork.
players. You got enough wealthy ball players from the state of Minnesota where y'all could open up banks. It goes back to the point I made earlier. The number one thing. Okay, so Asians just got an anti-Asian crime bill, and they've been getting checks for a long time. Okay, there is no Asian in the world that's going to say, "No, we don't need no checks." Nah. You know what I mean? Even the most wealthiest Asian is going to say, yeah, we need our checks. Native Americans, they get their reparations. Do you know they get it even if they work? It's just if they work, they get more. It's just keep your check and you get this check from us. Okay. Now you have foundationals. You don't hear ever hear of a foundational that's quote unquote celebrity status, millionaire status, ever bring up reparations. Ever. And what that does is it makes it seem like this is something that the perception is this is something that poor black people are asking for. These poor black people just want some money for some shit we don't know nothing about. We had nothing to do with this. This is our grandparents. We don't know shit about that. So that mentality, when you get an Oprah Winfrey or Tyler Perry or any of these motherfuckers to ever say, okay, I'm a billionaire, I'm set for life, but guess what? I'm still owed reparations, and so are my people. That movement will gain a lot more credibility. White people that have white people issues, guess who talks about it? Influential whites.
Yeah, I can't name anybody. I can't name anybody.
That's the main issue. And you only need one.
Just
If you had
one.
a LeBron James, a Michael Jordan, a Oprah Winfrey, a Tyler Perry, them about the most influential blacks right there. If you had one of them, they just said, you know what, man, fuck this shit. My people need reparations. But guess what happens? I don't need reparations because I'm a billionaire, so I don't care. That is the number one thing. Now, what about like what Craig Hodges said? 1991 NBA Finals, LA Lakers, led by Magic Johnson, against the Chicago Bulls, led by Michael Jordan. Craig Hodges is a player on the Chicago Bulls. He comes to Jordan and Magic Johnson. He says, hey, man, why don't you guys boycott the NBA Finals? Don't play until we
Right.
get certain rights, until we get an anti-black crime bill. This is in 1991. He's telling them that. Let's just not play. If you two don't play and refuse to play in the NBA Finals, America will bow down.
Right. Yeah, that was a good idea.
Well, none of them did it. That's all it takes. It takes that one influential black to just say, I don't care about me. I care about my people. I don't care about no schools. Those schools and the shit that they do like that, like LeBron opened up a school. They said, ain't nobody even graduate from that shit.
Oh,
It's just
hell
some
no.
bullshit. Yeah, it was just some shit to look good on TV. You really want to help your people? Let me hear an influential black bring up reparations. Please. Let me hear it.
Now you don't have
They
one. The
let you
only person
down.
that did it
Not
was Johnny
one.
Cochran. Johnny
And Johnny
Cochran was the only
Cochran,
person.
and Johnny Cochran died before the social media era where his voice could really be heard, you know?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's
if he
true.
was, if he's in the social media era, and that's why I just get so unimpressed when I see that. I'm like, oh, okay, these influential blacks, they got their money, they don't care. That's sad,
Nah.
but they'll all tell you it's like this, man. And this is something a Jew, a good friend of mine named Bruce, older Jewish man. I always say everybody needs to have a Jew on their side. He's a good dude. I mean, when I was back getting in trouble and shit, I could call him. You know, he was a real good person.
Oh, okay.
Still a good guy. Yeah, right. He told me one day, he said, hey, man, he said, you know, black people complain so much about the way they're treated in America. But the truth is they shouldn't even be looking at us. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, look at all these guys. And he broke it down to me in a way I never thought. He's like, man, do you know how many black people there are that got $100 million contracts? I said, man, you know what? You telling the truth. He said, you couldn't watch a game without seeing 2 or 3 black people that are worth 100 million, 20 million a year with endorsements and this and that. He's like, the black race should have been taken care of by the black race. And
That's
that
true.
just kind of hit me, man. And it's just like any issue that black people have, it should be coming from a LeBron James, a Michael Jordan. LeBron James should say, you know what? Until there's an anti-black crime bill, I'm not gonna play.
Oh
Michael
yeah, that'd
Jordan,
be that'd be soft.
I'm not releasing any more sneakers. No more sneakers are gonna get dropped until we start really talking about an anti-black crime bill. I bet you it would get done in a week.
Oh yeah, it'd be done in a week.
1
Literally, it'd
week.
be done. It'd be done in a week. And you know, like it's sad. And I talked about this before. You know, where when you look at our, you know, John Henrik Clark's, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Malcolm, you know, Ida B. Wells, like they should have been taken care of, bro.
Yeah,
A
most
lot
of
of them
them are
folks,
made fun of. Most of them they're not even known.
man, a lot of them folks, they should have been straight before they passed. Rosa Parks, they said that Rosa Parks, the Papa John's dude paid her rent or something. I'm like, what the fuck? Where was these congressional black caucus niggas at?
Well, that
Where
goes
was all
back to
these
not
bootleg?
having that
Where
goes
was
back
all
to
these?
not having black schools.
Where was
When
all
you
these
got black
bootleg,
schools,
buck
look,
dancing, tap
it goes
dancing
back to
Negroes
there.
at?
It goes back to not having black schools. When you don't have black schools and black teachers, you don't know who Ida B. Wells is. You're supposed to know who she is the same way you know about these fucking crackers they was teaching us about, whoever these motherfuckers are. Jacques Cousteau and all these sons of bitches. If you have black schools, they know who Ida B. Wells was growing up. So once these foundationals got to be 18, 19, they start inquiring, well, what is she doing? Oh, man, she's poor down there. Oh, she's poor. I've been hearing about her my whole life. I know exactly what she did. Let me go help her. The fact that
Yeah.
every foundational doesn't know who she is, doesn't. A lot of people don't even know. These new generations kids don't even know who Rosa Parks is. They have no clue. They don't know anything about the back of the bus, and they don't know nothing about it. I sit in the front of the bus. Every time I haven't rode the bus in a very long time, but when I did, I'd sit in the front. Fuck you. You know? So a lot of people don't even understand that, man. And it goes back to what you said about Larry Hoover. You know, a lot of these kids are just so young, they don't even know, man. They don't care. And guess what? White America's not influencing telling you. Like I was talking with you remember a girl we went to school with, Lisa Shefty?
Yeah.
I ran into her the other day, and I was talking to her about Indian natives and this and that. And like I was telling her, man, people don't really realize that shit, but the help comes. White people help you when they don't have a choice.
Right. Yeah.
It's never just wake up. So like for foundationals, you guys are sitting up here and you want reparations. Well, guess what's gonna happen? Maybe the magical white dude is gonna come up and he's gonna grant y'all reparations. He's gonna let every foundational get $200 a month. Boom. You know what I mean? Because you're allowing them to negotiate it. There's a reason why. Let me ask you something. Everybody that's owed debts, that owes IRS, that's listening to this and owes credit cards, why do you pay them? You pay them because it's going to fuck your shit up if you don't pay them. How many of you that owe the IRS and owe your credit bureaus, how many of you would pay them if you didn't have to?
Nobody would pay.
How many of you would pay if nothing will happen to you if you didn't pay?
Oh, nobody will pay.
Okay, hence why you haven't seen any reparations for blacks. Why would I pay you something I owe you when you ain't gonna do shit about it? You just want to sit up here and cry about me owing you? Cry till the cows come home. Come do something. George Floyd, Ty, you had it right there. Black Americans had white America by the balls. What do you motherfuckers want?
Even the globe. You got to think, when you got folks protesting, you got to think, you had folks protesting over in Iran over Floyd. And I'm like, man, what's up with the Congressional Black Caucus? That's how I had already didn't respect them, but that's really because see, here's the thing, and I talked about this before many times. That's why I say whenever I hear some old nigga talk about, well, you know, the Congressional Black Caucus and you died, so you got the right to vote, you got to vote and all this. I said, nigga, I don't want to hear none of that. You Negroes got a whole black caucus for what? And I told you before a couple weeks ago, bro, I said, you know, a lot of them niggas are lawyers. They have not opened one lineage-based reparations federal lawsuit, not one. That HR 40 is some bullshit. You got a whole bunch of Negroes. They just want to ride around in a Cadillac and hang out with Kamala and Divine Nine and have their little buffets and all this. You know, they just want to be the Negroes minding the store. And then every time something comes up and we're like, hey, why you ain't speaking on our behalf? They want to start talking about minorities, POC, and all this. Now, when you go into like the Hispanic caucus, they do not say black and brown on their website. They do not say disenfranchised. They don't mention black people at all. But when you go to the Congressional Black Caucus, you just see a whole bunch of just weasel words. Oh, disenfranchised minority, black and brown immigrant. I'm like, man, where the fuck is the reparations? They start talking about Trump on. That's the number one thing, Trump. And I'm like, okay, you can't trust these Negroes. And when they pulled that stuff in California, I can see why, you know, the black folks pulled up on them like, hey, what's up? And they was laughing at them. You see what I'm saying? They was actually laughing at them black folks. Them Congressional Black Caucus niggas was laughing at them black folk. They thought it was funny. You see what I'm saying? And I remember something that Dr. Claude Anderson had said before. And he said, you know, any other race of people, he said, man, if they pull some shit like that, he said, you find them in a trunk somewhere answering questions. He said, we're the only people that allow niggas to do shit like that. He said somebody would have caught their ass in the alley and put hands on them for pulling some shit, some coon shit like that. And I agree with him. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I don't be trusting, when people say, well, it was a black politician, you need to trust him. No, what is his stance and what work has he put in? You see what I'm saying? Because, now let's go over to the next subject and we'll close out in a second. Now, you were asking me, how much was it costing New Orleans per year? Callie Pitts, what's happening? Mr. Blessed One, what's going on? How much was New Orleans? How much was this Louisiana escape ordeal costing? $250K a week, they were saying. What's up, Callie Pitts? What's going on, man? How much it was costing? $250K. And you were like, well, the guy said, well, I just want to leave. You're like, how could he leave? And I'm like, bro, he said he had the affidavit, but you can't just walk out of jail like that. You see what I'm saying, bro? You can't just walk out and say that somebody told you could leave. But
an employee at the jail tells you, like he said, I didn't escape, I was let out.
Yeah, but that's the maintenance man. They probably put a shank to him and said, nigga, open up this toilet or we gonna put one through you. You gotta keep in mind, this is the first floor, bro. They're supposed to have them niggas in the basement somewhere. You
break down how it's costing $250,000 a week.
Because you got the governor, you done move witnesses. You got to think them niggas is strategic in New Orleans. They like, hey, you done told on me, nigga, I'm coming to your house. This ain't like Minnesota where niggas get on the internet on social media and just be yapping at the mouth. Let me tell you something. I went down to Louisiana. It's some good folk down there. Them niggas will put you in a box. If you play with them down, I'm gonna tell you about Louisiana. If you play with them down there, why you think when Lil Boosie said, man, we don't do rap battles down here, people get killed over that shit. They don't do no rap battles going back and forth. You disrespect a grown man, something gonna happen to you. Louisiana is a giant Rico. Callie Pitts, he knows. He said fast in the box. I've been down there, bro. I went down there. I drove all the way through Mississippi. I brought my family down there, man. They cool. Real good people. It feel like grandma's house. You don't even want to leave. Let me tell you, you play with one of them niggas down there, you gonna leave in the box. You ain't gonna survive. And they may not find you. They might put you in an abandoned house. Real cool people. You play with them, you ain't gonna live, bro.
Yeah, but where's the $250,000 a week coming from?
Man, the sheriff, some white supremacists running around, knocking on people's doors, harassing other black people. Hey, you know where Massey and Groves is at? Hey, do you know where his grandma's at? This, that, and the third. They running all around the city. Louisiana ain't got money like Minnesota and all these other places like that to get spent on sheriffs and the news and agents and all that. You got to keep in mind, bro, that they're running a plantation system down there. You ain't got to commit no crime and do something wrong to get indicted down there. They could pull you over and say that you took a candy bar and give you 40 years in Angola down there, bro. They're operating off of like a quasi, they're still operating like Jim Crow to a certain degree with their criminal justice system. How do you think them niggas got out? Man, they was texting and going through the phone. Them guards don't give a damn. They get paid $16 an hour. You know what I'm saying, bro? They get paid $16 an hour, man. They was texting on JPay talking about, bro, listen.
I mean,
listen to me.
I was let out.
But the thing is that's not a guard. The maintenance man's not supposed to be walking around without a guard. The guard was off jacking off and eating Whoppers or something, or Popeyes. The guard left. Lunch. It was on lunch, yeah, but where's the other guard? You gonna leave me in here with all these niggas? You gonna leave me in here with the double convicted Groves, domestic abuse Massey? You gonna leave me in here with all these dudes that been down for? You got to think, bro. A lot of them dudes were convicted. They was gonna go to Angola. Somebody probably told the maintenance man, "Hey man, open this shit up, bro. I got my broad coming to pick me down in the French quarters." You know what I'm saying? Open this shit up right now. We gonna stab this shit out you. He was like, "Oh shit, nigga, I'm getting a video game, nigga." Shit.
Now, this is the 5th time Massey's escaped from prison.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, bro. Like it's and then when you look,
what kind of joke their prison system is.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I really don't blame the inmates. Some people say, well, man, they was wrong. No, they weren't. You got a sheriff that got 40 fucking bank accounts. I don't want to hear nothing about inmates. I don't want to hear nothing about Groves and Massey.
I don't know what
don't.
that's about, man. They need to
40
investigate that.
bank accounts. You know what that says? And this is a black lady that's a sheriff. So what do you think them white wardens be getting in Angola and David Wade and All Vols Parish? And what's the place where the dude was smiling? Not Tehachapi or whatever, Tempelaya or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Nigga way out in some country ass town. He up there grinning. He escaped twice. Them parishes, man, they don't be, man, them guards and them wardens, they be BSing, they be dicking off, bro. That goes to show you what their system, how their system is operated. You could pay a guard to bring in knives, weapons, everything. Look at the New Jack channel. Shout out to G Street News Network. That nigga ain't lying about that shit to be happening there. You know them guards be selling inmates.
What do you mean?
You a 7'5" nigga to 400 pounds, and you been in Angola for 40 years. Hey, that little nigga right there, he look cute. Let me get him. I want him. Here go $50. Put him in my cell. Yeah. And the guards do it too. Yes. And the guards do it too. And you were telling like, man, can we go down there and can we interview people? Could we go to Angola and ask them about their conditions? Man, they might throw us up in that bitch. You talking about a real plant? I've been down in them plantations, bro. You talk about Louisiana is a giant Rico. They operate off of, you talk about, well, due process. Yeah, you ain't really getting due process like that down there. You're not. You got half the people up in there probably ain't even supposed to be up in there. You're not getting due process like you should. They got a unanimous jury. The jury could just be like, yeah, nigga, you guilty. You guilty, nigga. Well, I wasn't there. Oh, well, appeal. And as I told you, you go to some of the places like Baton Rouge and some of the places, when the guards lock the door, they probably got cameras and stuff like, but at one point, bro, you could go up in there and the guards don't come and get you. They lock the doors and you back there with everybody. They're not going to separate you from a rapist or a murderer or some psychopath. They're not going to do that. Yeah, it's like he said, treat the guard to get what you want. Cali Pitts ain't lying. Yeah, bro, that's what they do. And, the thing is, bro, is like he has the affidavit and he's probably telling the truth. I don't think Massey raped that person. I don't think he raped the girl. I think he probably had a little issue with his. He got an affidavit. He probably had a little fight with his girlfriend, and maybe slapped up a little bit or whatever case may be. Maybe, I don't know, but now they're looking at it like, well, nigga, you escaped a couple times, and now you're saying, well, they told you to leave. The only way that works if they told him to leave is if the guard said, hey, man, you ain't hear nothing from me, and went to go get some snacks. And they had the maintenance nigga open up the door. But the maintenance person's supposed to walk out with the guard. It's supposed to be a chain of command. They're not supposed to be walking around the prison without tools, bro. They're not supposed to be walking around the prison without a guard to they got to check out tools. They got to sign it right here. They got to check this screwdriver out because somebody could, what I'm saying? Somebody said, he said, separate anyway, we all together. Man, this is what I think happened because here's the thing. They done got 14 people involved. So they got a grandmama, somebody's girlfriend, their mama. All these folks were already texting them. That's how laxed it was already. They weren't really listening to the phone calls and stuff. They planned to escape. From what I understand, they got Massey's girlfriend and his sister talking about, like they were calling up the police and giving them fake leads and all that. That's what the police are saying they got. So everybody that's involved probably going to get 10 to 15 years on the escape. I'm not talking about the inmates. I'm talking about the people that they said were helping. Louisiana's pissed, bro. This went to the governor. They don't want the world to know it's the janky system. They don't want the world to know. That's why you were like, well, why ain't the feds coming in? They don't want no feds coming in, bro. He's right. The police could be lying. They probably is. Matter of fact, on reports, Massey his aunt, I believe it was, or his mother's sister, yeah, his aunt, said something about how they came and kidnapped Massey's mother or something like that, or his aunt or something, and said something about, tell me where your son is, or, and they took her phone. Total violation of due process and seizure. This wasn't a warrant. That's how they get down. That's why I told you, and I mean this, bro. Them folks talking about, well, yeah, the feds pushed me on the ICE raid on Lake Street, and they were doing wrong to us. I'm like, what? They were there for a 900-pound meth raid, or whether they was trying to get illegal immigrants or not. That's the feds. When have you ever seen some black person get ready to hit a fed with a softball or talking about we gonna block the feds? I ain't never seen no nigga be able to tell the feds, oh, don't arrest him, and if you arrest him, we're gonna push and shove you. Man, they would have smoked the nigga. I got no sympathy for them people on Lake Street talking about, well, they're being beaten. Man, do you know how many black folks that they done did no-knock warrants? Breonna Taylor, all kind of folks no-knock warrants and gets whacked them out, stretched them out. And these are folks that didn't fight arrest. When you black, when you're black and you're a federal, you better move out them folks' way. You don't get to tell the feds, oh, we're gonna block you from a federal raid. That's why a lot of black folks ain't coming out. We're like, wait a minute. When it comes to us, when the feds come, they start killing motherfuckers. They start shooting and beating us half to death when it's a federal raid. Ask them niggas in South Central. Ask those dudes in Louisiana. Ask those that stop and frisk that be going on in New York. And you got some folks that ain't even supposed to be here talking about, well, somebody push me. Get the hell out of here. But that's why I'm telling you, bro. A lot of black folks is like, man, hell no. We ain't co-signing this bullshit. They come through our houses and blow our brains out. Talking about we got pushed. Nigga, please. Yeah, you Cali Pitt, you from South Central. Tell them, bro. When they come through with them armored trucks and you start talking about don't arrest my homie, oh, we're not going to let you arrest him. What happens? Cali Pitts, let me know in the chat. What happens when a black person tells a federal raid or them LAPD race soldiers in Compton when they pull up talking about, oh, you can't arrest him. We're not going to allow you to arrest him. Tell me what happens. They pushing over grandmas, knocking your kids over, tearing up your furniture, doing everything, and they don't pay for it. You might get unalive messing with them people. He said they coming down on your head. So that's why we don't really sympathize like that for some white woman that's going to push a federal officer and thinking you ain't about to get a federal charge. They got 900 pounds off the street. My man Cali Pitts, he probably don't, we from Minnesota, bro. They just did a raid where they got 900 pounds of meth off the street, and folks had misinformation. They thought ICE was coming in, and they got 900 pounds off the street. And these folks was trying to block the feds from getting that, from getting that, because it was probably somebody in a restaurant that was doing human trafficking. If you're hiring illegal aliens and you're not paying them the wage that you're supposed to pay as Americans, that is human trafficking. You trying to give Diddy human trafficking. It's the same thing. Let's keep the same energy. So back to Louisiana. Louisiana is a big RICO, bro. I'm going to play this audio and we'll close out in about 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, slave labor. Louisiana's like you be like, well, damn, they don't need a RICO, DP? No, they don't need a RICO. Angola's the RICO. Angola's the RICO, bro. When you say that word, somebody be like, oh, shit, Angola. Oh, Lord. Don't send me there. Send me anywhere. Don't send me there. 5 to 6,000 inmates. The size of Manhattan. Water on 3 sides. You can't escape Angola. And if you do, you're only going to be escaped for about an hour or two. Let me play somebody that actually knows about it, that's been there. Let me play that for you real quick. Here we go.
Laying on the floor in the pot of water and they ain't breathing or moving. I need medical in the crash cart on F-wing. What the hell went on? What happened back here? Sarge, I think they was trying to give each other matching tattoos.
So this is one of my favorite channels when it gets to exposing the corruption of Louisiana. G Street News. This is New Jack now. New Jack
DP, I don't mean
is
to
basically.
interrupt. I got some breaking news.
Go ahead. Breaking news. Okay, what we got?
Vance has been arrested.
Oh, I gave him Wednesday. Let me look it up. Hold on.
This is the staging.
Arrested alive.
Suspected Minnesota lawmaker assassin captured. Suspected. Very
Well,
interesting.
They have to say that. They have to because he could film. Just
well,
in case. Remember what happened with the Unabomber in Atlanta? Shit.
Yeah.
Richard Pearl. They swore up and down he did it, and all the news people, they found out he didn't. That nigga never got to work again in his life. So they have to say allegedly until he's found guilty.
Oh, they already looking out. Look
Where'd
at
they
this.
get him at?
It says right here, food worker with fantasy of security career sought in Minnesota political shootings.
Yeah, he had a lot going on. But where did they catch him at?
Still unknown tonight.
Let me see. Yeah, see, when you're white, they make it look real. Yeah, when you're white, they make you look real good. They make it look real good. They're already making excuses for him.
Yesterday morning when we were on.
Yeah, they didn't catch him in Minnesota though. It don't look like Savage. They call him Savage, Minnesota. And they got him at a farm. He had a few dollars.
Oh yeah, he had a couple bucks. Look at how they handling him. The face of evil. After relentless and determined police work, the killer is now in custody.
Oh, he's cooked, man.
Yeah, but they gonna ask him some tough questions.
They're gonna beat this shit out of him.
They ain't gonna beat him up.
Yeah,
they ain't gonna beat him up. They ain't gonna beat him up. That's a white man, bro. Come on now.
That white lady he killed. I don't know. The white lady he killed and her husband, man, she was pretty well liked.
Nah, they not gonna do none of that, white man. He white.
Yeah, trust me. They already. I bet you they caught him a couple hours before they even said they caught him.
That man ain't got a mark on him. I'm looking at him right now.
That's nothing. Wait till they get. They already know he's gonna be on camera right now. Till they get him in their room. They're gonna have fun with him.
He got money.
Did the white boy. You see how they did the fat ass Papa John's white dude? They broke up all the windows in his house, and he's like, they won't even help me clean. So they don't give a fuck. They raided your shit because he lived there. Had they raided the wrong crib, maybe they ain't even help him clean up the glass or nothing. They said, man,
that white man got money and a lawyer. They ain't gonna do nothing to him.
Who?
He's not. They're not gonna do nothing to him.
What the fuck is a lawyer gonna do for? All a lawyer's gonna do is collect a check. Vance, if he was smart, he'd get a public defender, just put that money on his books.
Vance let me tell you what Vance gonna say. Vance gonna say, look, man, me and Tim had a deal. He gonna say something. You won't be surprised.
All that shit they were holding when they were telling Tim the other day, I didn't even watch what they were saying. When the dude was like, you're lying. You're a liar. You're always lying. This ties into that. Plus the guy worked for Tim. I think he
arrested
did some
near
kind of
Green Isle home. They say he was arrested near the Green Isle home. He was arrested near the Green Isle home.
He owned. They got his wife earlier today. They got his wife. He had a whole manifesto. He had Elian Omar. They said he had ball players on there too.
Man, I think he gonna plead insanity. You know, they good for letting him do that.
Well, either way, he ain't gonna see the light of day.
Let me tell you what he is gonna do.
He regretted it though right afterwards. If you heard the text message he sent his friend, he realized he fucked up.
You know who's gonna support him, right?
Who?
Oh, he gonna have a Rittenhouse crowd. You ain't know?
I don't know.
Race soldiers. Let me tell you something, bro. Race soldiers like this kind of stuff. A white man that could go to the blaze of glory.
You talking crazy, man.
No, not.
Dude. This is different.
You don't think he gonna have a GoFundMe, nigga? Please.
No. Who? What organization? What? Kyle Rittenhouse had racist people that was going to defend him.
Right. Yes, sir. He's gonna have support. You think he won't? There's people that are happy about this. Don't think they ain't, bro. Please.
There might be certain people that don't like that feel the way he did, but he's not backed by any. Kyle Rittenhouse was backed by racist people who supported him. The guy Dennis Schroeder from Silver Spoons, and these kind of people supported him. This motherfucker, man, this motherfucker needs to fucking burn in hell, man. This guy's a piece of
Okay.
shit, just like Kyle Rittenhouse is a piece of
All
shit.
right, and
This
look who
guy's a
supported
piece
Kyle
of
Rittenhouse.
shit.
Do you know that they literally, this nigga was sitting up there with the judge? When have you ever seen a black man that can sit there with the judge?
Kyle Rittenhouse had the backing of racist people because it was a racial situation. This dude ain't got that. The only people that could back this dude is people that are anti-government and this and that. And even them are gonna look at him like you ain't even.
Those
You got
January
certain people that are
6th.
gonna back him up. First of all, GoFundMe wouldn't even let him have a page.
Are you
First
crazy?
of all, nah, they wouldn't let him have a page.
Let me tell you something. Do you know Do you know
The
that white
GoFundMe
woman
would
in
not let him have
Rochester?
a page.
Do you know that white woman in Rochester that called that kid the N-word? Now I said GoFundMe,
Yeah.
but it's another thing
It's
like
not.
GoFundMe. They
Yeah,
will
it's
let
not
you
Why
have
wasn't it
anything.
GoFundMe?
GoFundMe didn't let you
Why
do it, but
not?
she
Because
still got a
GoFundMe
million.
wasn't going. But
All
she's
right.
not charged with double murder.
But what I'm saying to you, bro,
That's
is
not. There's such a difference between calling somebody a racial slur and double murder.
this platform, I'm
Trust
telling
me,
you.
man.
Look,
GoFundMe is not gonna allow somebody with a
it's
double
a
murder
place.
charge.
It's a place called GoFundMe. It's like GoFundMe. He's gonna have support from all them January 6 people. You're gonna be surprised. Watch what I tell you. You think he ain't gonna have no support?
He ain't even got the support. If Donald supports him, they will. If Donald condemns him, they're gonna condemn him.
Donald might just say, hey, they caught the killer, and he's gonna be real hands off about it. He didn't even call Tim, probably. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
No, this guy's a real piece of shit, man. Vance Bolter, fucking piece of garbage.
he's gonna
Get his ass
plead
out of here.
insanity, garbage or not.
Yeah, he
He's
ain't
gonna
gonna see
plead
the light
insanity.
of day. He ain't gonna see the light of day again. But he regretted doing it because if you hear the text message he sent his friend when his buddy was reading it, he regretted that shit. He was like, man, I did some dumb shit, and I'm probably either gonna go to jail for the rest of my life or I'm gonna be dead.
Was he a simp?
I don't know. It's hard to know that. I mean,
No, it's not. No, it's not, because
there's
when you
no
got,
female.
is he married?
I don't know, man. It's got nothing to do with simping. There's no female
No, because usually
involved in this
simps,
scenario.
usually simpish people do stuff like this. They throw their lives away. There's usually evidence of some simping.
But
Cali
DP,
Pitts, am I right?
I'm gonna have to get off the line. I gotta go run and pick somebody up.
Okay, we'll wrap it up. We'll
It's
continue
been
next
great.
week.
Yep, what a great time.
Okay, y'all take care. Everybody tune in later. Subscribe.
Bye bye.
Peace.